Thank you, Purva. Thank you. Okay, I've been trying to fix the mic issue, but it's all seems to be sorted out now. Okay, let me invite some more guests. Hello,
Hello.
Rob.
Hey, can you hear me okay?
Yep, all good.
Sweet. Sweet.
Pleasure to have you here. Uh, Let me invite the other guests. Mm, in here, so they can just present or we can outline. Marcus, Monty, and Marco, if you are in the audience, you should be able to join the stage automatically. You just have to click on the speak to stage button and you should be all good. Am I seeing our other guests in the audience? Did not yet. Hello, Sachin. Yeah, I remember it. Like today's not a karaoke event though, so on the next one for sure. We just started it a little bit early, so all our guests could join. We have time to cross-check everything. Hello, Marco. Welcome to
Hello.
today's session.
Hey.
Hello, how are you doing, sir?
Yeah, great. How about you?
Oh, doing great. You sound really energetic. Great to hear your
Thanks.
voice. Okay, so we're all waiting for other guests. Already seeing the audience fill out. We have almost 100 people now. We're waiting for Marcus Monti to join. Let me try to invite them.
Hello.
Hello, hello.
Hi, how's it going?
Welcome to today's event. Oh, it's going good. How about you?
Yeah, great, thanks. Happy to
Fantastic.
yeah.
Yeah, pleasure to have you all with us here to this event. Okay, great to see all of the Somniacs flooding the chat. Excited. Okay, we have hit 100 people in the audience already. Yeah, time to get chunked with all of our special guests today. So we'll be starting the stage in 3 minutes officially. We're just waiting for everyone to join and just to check everything is working fine for everyone. looks like everyone is super excited today to get chunked. Starting in 2 minutes. Already getting a lot of people chatting, the audience. Glad to see so many familiar faces here in Talents too. Mm, All right, I think we can officially start. I think we have everyone here with us, so we should be good to kick off today's event. So, good morning, good afternoon, and good evening to everyone wherever you are tuning in from today, and welcome to today's fantastic show of Unveiling Chunked. So, to kick off things, I would like to welcome our special guest today for having her time to join us on this event. So, welcome to the Unveiling Chunked event on Somnia. So, I guess to start things off, I guess it would be a pleasure to start with the introduction of the guest. So, Rob, would you please start?
Yeah, sure thing. So hey, I'm Rob. So I'm one of the co-founders of Improbable, which is a virtual world tech company that's been around for about 12, 13 years now. Been doing metaverse stuff my whole life since I was coding in Second Life as a teenager. And these days I'm CEO of M Squared. So all of the virtual world technology which we look after, which lets us have loads of people in a world at the same time. That's all us. And we're also responsible for this absolutely stupid slash crazy slash amazing experiment we're going to be doing today.
Fantastic. Sounds great. So, who would like to go next?
Like
I
me?
can go next.
Oh, Mark,
Hi.
okay, you go.
Thanks, Monty. Hi, everyone. I'm Marco. I'm happy to be here. I work at M Squared and I help with the 3D aspect of the rendering on our multi-user experiences.
Hey, that was great. Good to have you with us, sir. Okay, now you can go.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, so I'm Monty. I also work at M Squared. It's super cool to see everyone being interested in this. It's been a great opportunity to build this with Marco. And yeah, I hope we can make some awesome stuff in the future. I think Somni is a great place to be building. So happy to see everything working and everyone here.
Thank you. It's fantastic to have you all of you here at today's event. So, Rob mentioned a bit about M Squared, and I think many of the Somnia community is a little bit more or less familiar with M Squared, but a lot of our new joiners might also maybe want to know a bit more about M Squared. So, would you please introduce a little bit about M Squared itself so everyone can learn a bit more about it?
Yeah, sure. So M Squared is a company that's part of Improbable, and our goal is to allow people to make massive virtual worlds much bigger than you currently can right now, and to connect them together using blockchain technologies. So we see our vision where right now, you have all these different metaverse experiences like Decentraland, Sandbox, Fortnite, Roblox, and they're all completely separated. And we think it's more valuable and it's better for everybody that the things you own properly and you can take from place to place. So yeah, we're a tech company that's working on all the underlying plumbing to make that possible. So you can take things between different virtual worlds, they're all interoperable. And also we build world technology to make it so that the worlds themselves can do crazy things that, weren't previously possible. So we can, get 7,000 people in one place at one time, like we did with Yuga Labs' project. And we work with all sorts of people. So yeah, we're working with Yuga Labs on the other side and building the technology out for that. And we've worked with Major League Baseball, we've worked with K-pop, we've worked with sports stars. Yeah, it's just all about trying to build the next generation of virtual worlds.
That sounds super awesome. I think the idea of creating a fully interoperable virtual world is really fantastic. And I think that is when, I think people assume that the so-called metaverse has died, but basically everything is like a metaverse every game itself. So I have big hopes for that. I saw a lot of our community members really loved when we relaunched the playground like a week ago. So really, really excited for that.
And yeah, I think the relationship to Somnia for us is, our dream when we first started M Squared is we were like, cool, we're going to make a decentralized metaverse. We're going to make it like, what if you took Roblox and unbundled it into lots of different dApps that people could work on, like avatar creators, world creators. And the challenge was we just didn't have a blockchain which was powerful enough to handle it. And one of the crazy things we're able to do with Somnia now is we have so many transactions and we have so much capacity. We can put way, way more of the world on chain, which means that more people can extend it, modify it, and it's something that, can take on a life of its own rather than just being built by one person, which for us is really the spirit of what Web3 is all about.
Awesome. Like when you don't have the infra to scale what you have, you just build your own. So I guess that was one of the motivations behind Somnia, which is I think our community really loves that. Like Paul often used to say that, so it's super cool.
Yeah, I mean, I don't want to give too many spoilers, but part of Chunked is also us pushing boundaries, right? We've been pushing boundaries in virtual worlds for a long time now. This is probably the stupidest idea we've ever had, which is to make an entire game fully on chain on an L1 blockchain. And it's not just like tic-tac-toe, we're talking like a Minecraft-like world. So yeah, it's gonna be exciting to show.
Yeah, so previously there hasn't been any blockchains to host thing like this before. So as we have Somnia now, I'm sure more fantastic games will come on. But yeah, thanks a lot for those insights. I guess some of the alphas we can keep on for the later part of today's event. So thank you again. So I'll move on to my next question, which is actually the major part. So I'd just like to formally ask that what is chunked? Okay, most of the people already know. And also, what is the idea and inspiration behind building such a game that you were mentioning earlier?
So maybe I can talk a bit about why we decided to do this, and maybe Monty and Marco can take us through what Chunked is itself. But whenever you got new technology, and especially technology that's 10, 100, 1,000 times better than previous things, the way you prove it and harden it is by doing things that you think were previously impossible. So I don't know if people have ever seen these videos online where people try and run the video game Doom on a toaster or on like a sort of a tiny screen or on a Raspberry Pi. Those sorts of things are really good ways of pushing the boundaries of technology. And for us, we said, hey, Somnia is so fast, the block time is so low, storage is so cheap, computer's so cheap. What if you took a full game like a Minecraft like voxel world and built the entire thing on chain? So yeah, that was kind of the idea we had, and maybe Monty and Marco can take us a bit more through like the realities of that.
Yeah, no, exactly. It's so interesting to try to push the boundaries, and it's like, well, what makes sense to do that? And a lot of people like voxel worlds and related games. And we thought, if you put every single thing in Minecraft on chain, is that possible? And some of the things are really hard to do. Some of the things are probably too difficult. But we looked at what makes sense, but also what can you do. So Chunked is a voxel world game where everything that is sort of the most important parts of Minecraft are on chain. So you have like the movement is on chain. You have things like block placing and block removal and crafting. All these things are done fully on chain. There's no backend like Web2 server that's doing all the hosting of the database or nothing. It's all there. And we built this in less than 3 weeks. So there's like a really strong push for us to sort of to see what everyone sort of liked about it. But we want to just try things out. I think that's what Somnia is about. Is what is the craziest thing you can do? Let's try and build it, and let's see what works. And it's been really fun to do that. I don't know if Marco has a...
Sorry to just interrupt. Did you just say less than 3 weeks?
Yeah. I think the first commit was like 2.5 weeks, a bit under 3 weeks ago. Yeah.
Wow, that's crazy, because most of the community members are assuming that we have been developing it for months. Seeing the graphics and other
how we
stuff.
roll. This is how
Yeah.
we roll. And what really helps is we didn't have to make a game server. There's no game server. It's just a blockchain. There's literally nothing that's not on chain.
Yeah, exactly. It'd be a lot more complicated if we had to have all these servers and everything. And like I said, we have like systems and infrastructure that helps to make sure that we can handle the scale and these kind of things. But that's generic for the game. It's not like something we built for Chanked. Yeah, it's been a really cool. And I think what this allows is we've made a lot of. I think what we want to do, we drove the technology by building this game. So we want to make really cool cool games, but then we also want to make infrastructure so that other people in Insomnia can build games too. And so that's why we implemented this in a generic way as well, so that other people can hopefully, this is what Etherbase is trying to make sure that you can just you want to subscribe to things, you want to add states, you want to execute contracts with the TPS throughput of what Somnia is. You have to have a lot of custom infrastructure to be able to do that. And it's been really cool to explore that.
Wow, that sounds super awesome, because the first part about you mentioning that you made this possible with less than 3 weeks, I think that just opens up a whole new dimension of developing games like fully on chain, because the impression I had playing fully on chain games like for the last 2 years or so is that like the devs used to say that they take way more time to develop and it's way too complex to build it and get everything fully on chain. But I think with what M-Squared Insomnia is building, I think building fully on chain games at a point might be way more easier than building off chain games.
Yeah, I found honestly a lot of things here a lot easier. I think there's things where we're going to improve, but yeah, it's been great. I think Rob can tweet a bit more about that as well.
Yeah, I think a lot of the challenge with doing things on chain is blockchains are normally so slow and so expensive. You have to do crazy coding to make it work and build crazy off-chain stuff like indexes to make it possible. And if it's not really easy to do, if you can't basically vibe code a game, it's not going to be valid. You're only going to get a certain level of experiences. And for us, we thought like Minecraft, it's like if you can do Minecraft, you can do basically anything. It's like every block of maybe someone else can take that one. It's an interesting question.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, I think that Somnia's throughput and TPS is basically the most important value, I think, of why we've seen it more valuable than other things. Isn't it's interesting to consider how you do this on other blockchains. That's like the first thing, but also like the EVM compatibility is critical. You can't do this on loads of other fast, quote unquote fast blockchains, because they just don't have the same EVM compatibility. And you also you want you don't want to necessarily put some L2s and L3s either, because you want to have the availability for other people too, for making things like viewers. So one of the other things, one of the values of putting this on chain in the first place is that it allows people to interoperate with this experience. So we built an example viewer that we can link as well, that shows all the updates that are currently live, and you can view people's addresses, and you can see what their inventory has, and you can see everything they've done. You can see how far they've run. You can see all the items they've crafted in the history of it forever. And these are things that make a lot of sense. They're just part of the game, but it's so hard to do without a good blockchain that it's cheap to do storage modifications. It's cheap to do a lot of these things. It's been really easy actually to do so many things I thought would be very hard on blockchain. I've seen in the past, following Ethereum and other blockchains for a very long time. It's been so hard to do anything meaningful, and it was so easy to do it. Insomnia, it almost felt like it wasn't real, but it is, and that's what I like about it so much.
In terms of the story of putting games on chain, it's all about making it something so it's no longer owned by one group, but it's a community of people that are able to contribute to this thing and extend it. For example, whenever you mine any block in Chunked, it's an actual 1155 token which you now own in your wallet, and you can trade it. You could trade with other people. You could build a DApp to extend that in different ways. So yeah, it's all about turning it from something owned by a company to something owned by a community, and also having it so the entire thing is financializable. So you can trade any piece. You can trade your pickaxe. You can trade your blocks. You can build applications that are debuggers and viewers. You can extend the game yourself from the source code if you want.
Okay, that's really cool. Like, I really liked what Monty was saying and the example of using Ethereum. They have been trying to be the consumer chain for such a long time, and the vision, of the dream computer. But I think, it doesn't look like at all the promised chain for mass consumers at all. So there's a good chance that Somnia can take the place of for the mass consumer applications, and putting a game like we can say that Minecraft is being fully on chain now. So putting such a game fully on chain might be the very foundation of what can be actually fully on chain in the future. So my next question was, I think you already answered a little bit, like how does Somnia facilitate a game like this compared to other blockchains that claim to be, a lot. I don't want to mention anything, but I think you kind of like covered a lot part of it. But would you want to add anything else on top of that?
You can take that one, Monty.
Yeah. I think one of the things that stuck out to me a lot is the community. It's been knowing that there's a community there that cares, that is very interested in this kind of stuff. That isn't just all about, oh, I care about like ultra security, or I care about things that are kind of not necessarily very relevant. It makes a lot of sense that when working with someone to be like, well, actually, we can work with that community, not just in like getting people to play it, but also showing that there is actual value to this stuff. And I think someone has been great with that, as well as just the sort of the way that there's been great reception on everything too, on everything that somebody's done. Has been really it's been really interesting. Obviously, alongside all the other things to do with things like throughput and EVM compatibility is huge. But I think the community is a big one.
I really love to hear that, and we try to be really well aligned with the community itself and try to bring what's best for them and what they like. So certainly that is one of the things that we highly focus on. But yeah, thank you for covering that bit. So now would like to move a little bit deeper into the game itself and maybe a couple of alphas before we move on to the next part of today's session. Like, is there any special game features that you were particularly excited about when you were developing it and sharing with the community? I know we will have a playtesting sometime later today, but still, if you want to shed light on something that you found pretty interesting.
Yeah, Marco, do you have any thoughts?
Yeah, for me, the real magical moment was checking out the functionality for the first time. As Rob mentioned, everything you mine on Chunked is going to be something that is on your wallet, and you can do something about it later. We have seen in the past other demos of games sending all the game states to a chain, but just as a proof of concept, like, okay, we can do that many transactions per second, and this is really fast and everything, but it was like having a button that you press and send like many transactions just to prove the throughput of the chain. But having that functionality and in the infrastructure to build a game of such complexity on top of it was pretty magical when we tried the first time and saw it working. And the time that we took to develop that also says a lot about the quality of the infrastructure that we built upon. So it was pretty amazing, and now we can see a lot of possibilities in terms of what's next. How this game can evolve, or the other stuff we can build in the same way. It was a pretty exciting moment.
Okay, that's really cool. I guess we can learn a bit more and see it at the next part of today's segment, right? When the community itself will be able to share it. But I guess that you can shed a bit light on the next question as well. Like, how do you plan to evolve the game in the coming weeks or so? Like, what are some of the next priorities? What features you want to see in the game, and you want to move on to the next one?
Maybe I can take a bit of that in terms of stuff. Is for us, this thing today is a bit of an experiment. Like no one's ever tried to build a game like this running on an L1 blockchain before, and we want to see how it goes. We want to see the feedback from the community. So many of you here, it's probably going to explode a little bit, and that's what this is all about. It's all about learning together and evolving. But if people like it, if people like this as a community space, this is something we might want to evolve into over time, in terms of adding more kind of crafting systems, adding the ability to own parts of the land so you can build your own house on it without people deleting it, increasing the size and scale of the world, but potentially even having a marketplace for the different blocks. If you're, you have the time to mine some diamond ore and someone else wants to buy that to make their house look awesome, it's all on chain, it's all tokens. So that's really, really easy for us to put in. But even better, we don't have to make that a community of people. Someone else could make the trading dApp. We've just made the low level contracts.
Okay, like the marketplace is something I'm super excited about because I think that's where the fully on-chain part comes out, and people can maybe make one for themselves, and they can trade stuff directly with each other. And I'm sure that the marketplace will be a massive one. Like whoever starts building it will be a big winner in the long term for the game itself.
For sure. I think our dream as well, right, is we're still in testnet phase. So this is our chance to experiment, to learn. And yeah, if this is something that picks up some momentum, it could turn into something that, is launched on mainnet as a real project.
Yep, absolutely. That would be superb. And I think it's, the early stages are, meant to be broken. And that's when the community feedbacks come out. So the team can fix things and, it can be more scaled for more people. But yeah, excited to try out the features and for the coming other features to be rolled out. So I will be moving to my last question for the first segment. So this is a bit more technical one. Like, we have seen the mention of Etherbase a lot recently. So what is actually Etherbase and what role does it play in the development process? So if you could share a bit about that, that would be great.
I think someone else can take that than me. It's going into the bowels.
Yeah. So Etherbase is still evolving. There's a lot of things that we're trying to figure out exactly what it is. But for where it plays at the moment, it's a backend infrastructure that we developed for interfacing with Somnia. Because Somnia is so high performance, you need something that doesn't run in your browser to be able to do that. And I'm sure people have seen that MetaMask is far too slow to do anything reasonable, especially if you're talking like updates of movement in a game.
Every time you mine a block, you'd have to pop up MetaMask and click yes to mine the block.
It'd be crazy. So
MetaMask has had some trouble to keep up with Somnia, so that's certainly a good point.
Absolutely, yeah. And that's like one of the smaller parts. It's like, well, how do you even make sure that it's pretty easy to then subscribe to all these updates when these updates happen? A lot of these people would consider, well, you probably need to write a lot of custom VM code or ethers or something in order to make that work. And you can do that for every game individually. But before we made Chunked, we made something called Etherbase, which is basically a more generic structure of like you basically can say, I want to subscribe to this thing on this contract, and you'll just get the data when you ask for it. And if you want to execute contract methods, we include secure methods of doing so using session systems and sort of EIPs to keep all your stuff secure, but we still can basically execute things on your behalf by saying, okay, here are your accounts. And we're looking at sort of the way these things will evolve, but the main thing is we needed something to make this possible, make Chunked possible, make other games possible. We built it because it was absolutely required. There was no other way to do it, really. And so, obviously things are still very experimental, particularly when we talk about like lots of people playing at the same time. This is something as part of M squared that we deal with specially, is how to deal with lots of people currently playing a game. It's not trivial. It's very hard to do. There's a reason why most games only have 100 people in them max, because it gets very hard when you do more than that. So we're looking at sort of how to improve that, how to make it more resilient to that behavior, because we think that's what the future is about allowing things that haven't been done before. So hopefully this is honestly a great experiment here to see if does it work, does it not, what needs to be fixed, what can be improved. But yeah, it's at least even just now, it's been great to see everyone interested.
That's great. That's great to hear. And I'd just like to add that I think fully on-chain gaming is at such early stage still. I think developers, I know all of you are top tier developers here, so it's maybe a little bit weird, but that I'm saying this. But what I feel is that the infra for building like fully on-chain games is still not there. So the developers that are trying to build fully on-chain games or applications, they face twice the trouble because they have to build the product itself as well as the infra that is capable of hosting a massive scale game. So I think with Somnia that would be resolved on such an extent. But yeah, if you want to share anything else on that, feel free to go ahead as well.
But I guess there's a crazy idea for the future, right? Where building massive scale worlds, you just need decentralized infrastructure. And I think, Somnia is part of that story. If we wanted to scale this up to having tens of thousands of people in the same space at the same time, you're going to need some more of the other advanced technology that M Squared's built, like Morpheus, which is currently off chain. But our dream is to be pushing more and more of that on chain as the blockchains get more powerful enough to handle it.
Fantastic. Yeah, I hope Somnia can facilitate all that. So there's a lot more cooler and more capable fully on-chain games coming. Because most of the games that I used to see for the last year or so are like super mini games. And I think I haven't seen a game that looks like Chunked, which is fully on-chain yet, ever in Web3. All were like super mini games, that were like more like a fully on-chain feature rather than a good game itself. It was not enjoyable at all, but it was fully on-chain. But people didn't quite enjoy it, and that's why they didn't have a lot of users. But Chunked might really, really, really astonish people. So yeah, thank you for answering all the questions and sharing all that details. So that concludes the first part of today's session. And now we'll be moving on to the next segment of today's session, where we will be sharing a playtest link of Chunk with you all, where you can test it yourself, try to break it, and play it a bit too as you break it, right? So yeah, let's kick off the testing. And after that, we will have another small session where we take some questions from the community and maybe some feedbacks if you have any too. So, would one of you please do the honors and share the link in the chat?
Who else is nervous? This is going to be fun.
Yeah, we'll see.
Okay,
If it doesn't work, just yell in the message in the chat if something doesn't work, and I can maybe try to help your problem. But we'll see.
just break it and give a shout out as a TLDR.
Yeah. Yeah, you should be able to use MetaMask to log in, but you can also just use a guest account, and a bit later, fast forward to play, just click guest, and it should hopefully all work. But we're testing a lot of things now, so interesting to see if everything holds up.
Okay, a good live stress testing. By the way, would one of you be interested in maybe sharing your screen and showcase it a little bit too to the community?
Yeah. I've been trying to do it, but my Mac is not very happy.
I've got a I can maybe do if you want. I've got a separate screen.
Okay,
Set up.
yeah,
I'm
that'd be great.
actually already recording it, so it's
Nice.
yeah, for Twitter. So can everyone see? Okay.
Okay, yeah, we can see a screen.
Sweet. So we got 16 people here so far. Everyone's sort of like, hanging around. I don't know if Monty, you can find me somewhere in the world.
Oh yeah, you over there.
So the first thing to know is every movement here, everything happening is fully on chain. So if you want to look up and down, even that is on chain. Look at your neck is on the blockchain, which is quite insane to have. People here are already starting to, craft and gather. When I'm mining and I'm clicking this is actually, giving me an 1155 token. It's modifying the voxel data, which is currently on the blockchain. All of my inventory here is on the blockchain as well. The really important thing is there's not a lot of wood.
Yeah,
It's really important.
Yeah.
It's really important to get some wood.
you got to get wood fast, because you
Yeah.
can build a pickaxe and then you can get some cobblestone.
Yeah. So
That's
I'm
an offer
gonna.
right there. Whoever has
Yeah,
more wood
exactly. Yeah.
would be richer.
Goodbye, rip trees. Yeah, goodbye trees. So you can see here, I've got some wood, and just like, a game like Minecraft, I can click craft, and now that crafting was 100% on the blockchain, and now I have wooden planks. And with those wooden planks, I can put some of those wooden planks down. And again, like in, a Minecraft-like game, I've now got a stick, and I need slightly more planks to make the pickaxe. There we go. Just remembering how to play Minecraft. There we go. And then if we put this back and do craft, bam! I have a fully on-chain pickaxe now.
Yeah.
And this probably means, what, Monty? Can I go get some cobblestone?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you can go get some cobblestone.
Here we go. Let's go. Cobblestone. Look at that. It's some real stuff. And you see the pickaxe even has durability, and the durability is on chain as well, based upon the blocks you're interacting with. So yeah, really, really cool.
Okay,
Oh,
so some of the people are having trouble to join, including me
Yeah,
as well.
if you see a countdown,
So
if you see a
I'm-
countdown timer, just try to hard refresh your browser. We had some problems with caching, so yeah, if you ever see the countdown timer on the Chunked site, yeah, just try hard refresh.
You can always give them the secret URL, Monty,
Yeah,
as a
yeah,
backup.
yeah. In
I think
case
that's
people
well.
want, you can also try the secret link that we've been using. That has been live the whole time.
You could have been here. You could have been here the whole time.
Yeah,
just needed the hero brain part. I don't know if it's how that can be done in ChatGPT or something.
yeah. So
it's not full. I think just keep on trying to
Yeah,
connect. This is a really early test. We're trying a bunch of different systems.
Yeah, exactly.
We've tested this with bots up to hundreds of people, so you should be absolutely fine.
Yeah, and I try, if you can't get in, I try either trying to use a guest or a mask, or use incognito instead, because sometimes the way we're using this with things like guest accounts can sometimes mess with the settings you have. So incognito would be the safest way to be able to play this for sure.
Yeah. For those who are kind of say loading world, it can take a little bit of time for it to download the data, but you should be able to get in eventually.
Yeah, it's all getting it from the chain. One of the things we have seen is that sometimes there's some problems when there's too many people doing it. There can be some slowdowns, but we are working on making sure that the way that it gets the world data is fast enough. And you can still try, if it's too long, you can try to refresh to see if it works. But yeah.
Oh, some people are getting in already. 23 people.
If you get in, post a screenshot in the chat. Great to see everyone joining in, and go get some
I
blocks.
see a lot of people complaining that they cannot join in from a Mac, and that case includes me as well. Is Mac just incapable?
I don't know.
Oh,
I'm not at the moment, so it should work.
Okay.
But yeah, and this is one of the things that obviously we need to have a look at. We have some people to test with, but it's the best people to test with is the real community to see what kind of works.
For me, it's loading as well, like the rest. Oh, I'm still waiting.
Yeah, I'll have a look. I can see.
Is there a server thing? Because most of the people that I see are facing loading screen are from Asia, and the ones that can be logged
right.
in instantly are from Europe. So is this
Yeah,
something
it's
really
definitely possible that because we haven't been able to test with a great like regionality. We have tested before with Asia, but it's possible that when there's too much load, there's a dependency there. So yeah, we definitely look at doing regionality.
So if for those who are on laptops for moving, you're going to have to use typical gaming controls, which is W, A, S, and D to move around, and then the mouse to look.
okay? I'm jealous of everyone who is able to got in. I'm just not being
So
able
if
to
you
join.
try doing a hard refresh, like Control F5, that's often a way to kind of refresh it, because if you've been on the site previously, it can cache the old version of the application. It should be accessible from a smartphone. Yeah, there is a mobile version, right, Monty?
Yep, yeah, exactly. Yeah. If you ideally horizontally on your phone, but yeah, it'll work out of the box. So yeah, keep that as well.
Okay, let me try again. So,
Let's see. Oh, there's a whole village here as well. Is this so, Monty? Where is this data from? Like, what world are
Yeah.
we seeing?
This is one of the coolest things. Obviously, you can. The classic thing is to just like generate noise, but we actually took a world from my favorite time in Minecraft, which was 1.2.5, about 2012, and imported that in. I wrote a system that allows that importing, so it also means you can basically have any Minecraft world and you can import it into the blockchain. And it's really cool. It's really cool to have that capability as well. So there's this really interesting idea of maybe you can have multiple worlds that people can connect to with explorers to see the different worlds, based on. And it also means that it's permanent, right? You can't get rid of this world now. It means that in case like some people lose their data files or you have to put it with a server somewhere and you have to trust them, it's here because you trust the decentralized nature of something. So
okay, I'm finally in. Like from my PC, I'm in like in a second. On my laptop, it keeps loading, so it's kind of weird.
Yeah, it might be if you've been on the website before, it's sort of loaded an old version of it from back when we were developing. Because yeah, it should be okay.
Also, another thing, like as we're playtesting, I'd like to ask that for the lands, do you plan to add like owners of the land, how people can like have their own territory or to separate lands? Is that something you plan on doing in the future?
I think so. There's an idea, right, about do we try and keep everybody in the same world, or we let everybody have their own world? Um, I personally like the idea of everybody sharing the same space because it's more of a community project. But yeah, I mean, if you can have the data on chain, you can have as many worlds as you want.
Yeah, so I more like meant where everyone is on the same world, but they have their own little territory that they can
Oh
claim
yeah. I
using
think like
something.
maybe Monty and Marco can like jam on that, but that's definitely something possible. Like, we could have a type of block that lets you reserve a portion of the land so that people don't build on your work. That might be a really nice mechanic to make it so people can build without being interrupted.
yeah, exactly. It's something that it exists in Minecraft servers now, where a lot of people are actually quite involved with a lot of Minecraft servers with an economy. But if you can use blockchains, it means you can reserve land. It's similar, or you can consider it like ENS. You could say, I have this chunk and I'm willing to sell it to someone for this amount, or I have protected chests. Chests are a really interesting idea as well. What that could look like. I think one of the best things about doing something like a voxel world like Minecraft on chain is there's so much potential that you can do. As in it's very hard to do a lot of these things, but it really proves out the real time nature as well as the how much you can do with EVM. Because I think most people have not, most of blockchains have basically done nothing with EVM. It's been very rarely used for anything interesting. If anything, it's just mostly finance. So I think it's very
Yeah,
interesting to lean
meme
more
coin
into actual
trading
game mechanics.
and so on. You can say.
Yeah, exactly. And obviously, there's value to finance, but I think the value to finance comes when it means something to someone, and you get that from things like games, right? If you're making a game and it's like World of Warcraft, World of Warcraft has a real economy. People even like pay money for fake gold in World of Warcraft because people care so much about the items. So it makes sense to, why have a black market for that when you can have a real extensible market that everyone can really interact with. So yeah, I think there's so many cool opportunities, and this is just one game. I think it's the fact that there's so many interesting things here with just this one game is incredible to think of what you could do when you have this infrastructure that allows people to super easily say, I want to make this game. They make it super fast. It's on the blockchain. Everyone can play it. It just makes so much sense to try to see what that looks like, because I think a future without that is definitely a worse future.
Absolutely. I think you're absolutely spot on. And in Web3, I think having your own kind of land and selling those land and being those lands like tradable in form of NFTs or other tokens, I think is a really popular thing in Web3. And I'm sure that if these things are tradable, like the lands itself, like similarly to the items that are mined, would be something really, really exciting for the players and the community itself.
So, Monty, how deep can we dig?
Well, it's Minecraft, so you will hit bedrock, and you can't mine bedrock. There's
Oh,
a line
wow.
in the contract that says you can't break it.
Is there lava?
There is technically lava, but the lava, unfortunately, in web experiences, it's quite hard to get like any kind of actual lava in the game. So
Okay.
it is currently netherrack. But you might find netherrack around, which is the lava.
I'm going. I'm going to see how deep I get. If anyone wants to come see where I am.
And you get
And to
the
show it screen.
Someone's helping.
Hey, people are
sorry,
posting
that was me.
screenshots.
That was me, sorry.
We're still going. Let's go. I'm really glad I have a stone pickaxe because this is a lot more durable than the previous one. Oh, I found some dirt.
I think something that is urgently necessary is a map, right? Where
Oh
we can
no,
see
real
where we
Minecraft
are.
players don't need a map. You just gotta know your way around, So we need to make the roads, the waypoints. So see. Oh no, I've gone too far.
Okay, that's a nice take too. I'm currently looking for others.
Let's see if we can show everybody where we've dug the big hole. Here we go. We made it out. Now I have a load of cobblestone.
Nice. Yeah, it'd be great to see if people have recommendations on things they'd like to see, things would be cool to do. Because, as in when I was building this, and I'm sure Marco can speak to that as well. There's so many things that come into the mind of like, oh, can you do you have a furnace, and can you get iron, and can you do armor, and can you do even I think the redstone I think is a really interesting idea. If you can have like a lower level of like a high level of logic on top of EVM as like a redstone system is kind of crazy. And it'd be great if we don't have to build that as well. If someone else can just take what we've done and build cool stuff off of that as well. I think that's the main thing about building in the open, and it really sort of leans into the spirit of blockchains and Web3 is people building together and helping each other to just build awesome things.
Yeah, and I guess what's great about this, right, is this is going to exist forever. Like this data is never not going to be on testnet. It's
Exactly, you're memorialized. If you're here and you've built something or you try to connect or anything, we have your address is there forever, as being related to that block, related
I
to
think
those
for
items.
some people who are having issues connecting in, I think probably Chrome's probably going to be a browser which is going to be more fruitful.
Sure.
Would you recommend that?
Yeah, definitely. I would definitely try Chrome, or I did Chromium-based things. I think Brave definitely could be problematic. So yeah, Chrome's definitely the one to pick. And Incognito if you can't. But yeah, we'll look to get specs as well.
For those who are a bit more devy, if you know how to open the debug tools for your browser, and if you have any logs, any errors to share that are useful for us, that would really help us with diagnosing what's going on for those who are having connection issues. But it's great to see some people running around, placing things, building things. It's just going to be crazy now, right? We're going to come back in a few days' time, and there's just going to be all sorts of crazy stuff built.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And exactly, people, it'd be great to see what you build, to just build anything as you wish. Hopefully, it can keep running. And we've seen some problems that might cause some things to fluctuate and stuff, but hopefully we're going to keep it up, so that people can still build what they want, and it'd be awesome to see what people build. So yeah, it'd be great.
Might even hold up a competition to see who can build the most cool stuffs, like the
Oh, that's
best
a
building
cool idea.
or
That's
Yeah.
a cool idea.
Awesome. But yeah, hopefully we can get everyone in for the next times, because
That's why we do testing.
exactly, yeah. Now we know.
why is
great.
my world empty? Like I'm the only person in my world.
Oh, you might need to refresh sometimes. Sometimes you might have a weird like connection, if you lag in a certain way. But yeah, refresh might help.
Yeah, I mean, this is the first time anyone's tried to make a real-time game like this on an L1 blockchain. This is the first time we have ever tested it with other humans, so we thank you so much for helping us to test. You know, we can only test so much with bots, but you're all on different hardware, you're all over the world, and it's only by doing these sorts of experiments we get the feedback we need to, you know, improve it and make it better.
Exactly, yeah.
Seems
thank
like
you.
most of the people have been able to join, but those that haven't been able to join, please try from the link that I just dropped down. And also, we will prefer that you use Chrome to try it out. So you should be able to log in. Okay, I think the reason behind I was not being able to meet and greet everyone is because I was maybe logged in as a guest, I guess.
I guess should work fine. But I think there's definitely some different unique circumstances with people's different browsers and different connections and stuff. It's one of the things we want to support is try to make sure everyone around the world on everything can connect. And as part of M Squared, we found that also it's quite challenging. And most games struggle with that. Most games have regional systems that lock you in, and we don't want to try to do that. It's part of Web3 is making sure everything works for everyone. So yeah, hopefully we can get to a great place where everyone can join in.
Okay, that's for sure. Also, just wanted to ask quickly that will this Herobrine link be open for people to try it out later who are having trouble now?
Yeah, absolutely. No, we're going to leave this up. URL will stay up. So yeah, just feel free to try. If it breaks, feel free to let us know. And we'll try to help. We want to make sure that this is
Wow,
always running.
I just saw someone write Somnia in the world of Minecraft already. That's so cool.
Oh no.
Let's see. Look at this. Good job. Fantastic.
That is so cool, guys.
Wow, the world just keeps on going, doesn't it? Wait, is that desert?
Yeah, there's a desert. I think I
What?
was quite lucky with the place that I was able to get, because it came with all these different biomes. There's even like a whole lot of water, but the water doesn't work either, so you just walk on water. But that's, we respect that.
So I think one of the really cool thing that is doable here, as it's fully on chain, is people might be able to make AI agents that might be able to mine for them, like automatically, right?
Exactly, and this is one of the things I really, really want to be able to do. Is I would love to have AI agents starting to interact with this. I think that blockchains are a great place for AI agents to interact, and I think having AI agents sort of running around is a great way to actually start proving this out in a game element. There are even ideas of like asking an AI agent to build something for you, or to just actually start running around the world and doing things. It's a really cool idea, and because it's all in the blockchain, there's just this interface, this API that's already built for them. So it's just making sure that there's a good sort of layer to have that interaction. And I think games is a great way to push the boundaries on that because it's so interactive.
Yep, absolutely. And yeah, like we have a really cool bunch of devs that like to hover around the blockchain itself, and they have made some really cool mini on-chain games so far, which the community love to play. I'm sure they're gonna try to play around with AI agents and see if they can auto mine things and get rich from Chunked as well. You see a lot of players inside the game right now, also trying to do stuff. So we would now like to move to the third segment, and which is the last one as well today. We all had some really fun playtesting, and the link will be open so you can try it out later on too. So if you have any questions, suggestions, feedback, please drop it here in the chat, and I'll take it from there and ask our guests. Okay, let me scroll a bit. So the first question I have is a fun one: is where to find the pickaxe?
Well, you have to make it just like Minecraft.
Yeah, if you don't know
Yeah,
how,
exactly. So
Google. Go on Google and search how to make a pickaxe. Yeah, but you'll need some sticks and some wood, and you get the sticks from the wood. But yeah, it's just like Minecraft.
basically you would do real life as well. Like you need the materials and then you just need to make it, right? So it's quite easy. But yeah, this was a really funny one. So let's see which else we have. So the next one that I just saw is: are you going to make a marketplace where people can trade in game items with real currency? I know you touched a little bit about it, but would you like to say and brief it again?
I think it's just a cool idea. I don't know, Monty, like what you think about that, but that's something that's definitely possible. It's just finding the right time, when the project's the right maturity.
Exactly. Yeah, I think it's if people think that'd be great, be cool to see what people think of that. But yeah, I think one of the nice things I've seen when building this is that AI is so good now at building sort of applications that I'm pretty confident that as long as you have a good interface for this, then with the contracts, then it'd be pretty easy to build something that works on top of that. So it's more about is it valuable to people? Is that going to drive the meaning into the game? But I think it definitely could, and then it'd be great to have people being able to trade items and sell them and stuff. It'd be awesome.
Like he's happy for the answer. So that's all good. The next one, which is I think should be a really popular one. I think I had this question as well. It's from Dimitri, one of our really top community members. Is it possible to text or chat with others inside the game?
Yeah, this is another really interesting one. We have some prototypes for things like text chat using the blockchain. There's a lot of really interesting problems that come out of that, and it's one of the things that we'd love to do. So there's actually a whole host of things that we would love to do with this that we might maybe didn't have time or similar. For example, we had things like player names. We had there's a really interesting idea for things like different skins, maybe things like NFT skins would be really awesome to have in this game too. That then you could trade or you could earn from doing certain things. It's a really cool idea. So yeah, there's a lot we can move off from here. But yeah.
Absolutely. Thank you for the answer. And I think as the game develops and evolves, I think a lot of more social features can be added gradually, right? So people can actually interact or have some fun with each other. So that would be something really cool. The next one I just spotted is from Timuru, and he's asking that will you be embedding plugins like Tantrum and other mini games?
Well, I think one of the big things we're interested in is that we're open sourcing basically all of this work. So we'd love to see other people also doing this. As in, we have it doesn't have to be us doing this too. it's part of, we've built some of this because we think it's really important and really valuable. But we'd love other people to look at sort of the open source stuff we've done. And we'll be publishing this soon, so that other people can look at the contracts, look at the game, and basically just make their own stuff, make their own versions of this. And if they want to put plugins in, if they want to put mods or other things, you can add really whatever, because it's your contract, it's your game, and therefore you can just deploy it. It's a really cool idea. But yeah, we're looking at potentially supporting some stuff too, but nothing specific yet.
Okay, I guess that sums it up because, if it's open source, then basically people can play around a lot with it however they want. And I think the
Yeah.
next question I wanted to ask is quite similar to this one. Like, I guess you can add a little bit on top of that. Like, can players expect modding support or custom content creation tools in Chunked? Like, how open is the game to community-driven development?
Yeah, exactly. So I think that we're still working to see exactly how we want to progress with this. But yeah, as I said, the code will be open source to everybody. So people are free to take that, and we'll have some sort of guides on how you can set that up. Some just a basic README work. So I think that there's in terms of like things like specifically modding support or the creation tools, it's we want to at least initially just say, well, you have the code, and so you can do what you want with that. And so it's really interesting.
Okay, thank you. The next question is, I think, the best question for today. I tagged Rob and Wanty there. Like, someone asked, how can I get up from here?
Yeah, you need to build up. You need to place the blocks below you to jump. Just like in Minecraft, you look below you and then you jump and then you place a block. Or you can refresh and you'll be respawned back above the world. But yeah.
Yeah, so everything is mineable, so I guess you can just try to mine the one above you, and that should be...
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. You can also make a staircase out as well. Sure.
Okay, so let's move on to the next one, guys. So feel free to drop your questions. Oh, I just saw that Rob is saying that he needs to jump up. So thanks a lot, Rob, for being here with us. It was a pleasure to have you. I don't think we have anything else. I don't see any more questions here today. Like, lots of people are having loading issues, but the link is already here. So I would advise them to try again later on and try to help them as well.
Yeah, actually, I just saw someone that that was asking about the torch recipe. Yeah, we haven't implemented all the recipes. We implemented some of them. But there's so many more recipes that you can do with Minecraft. We implemented a subset for now, just to demonstrate sort of the key concepts. But it's great to see you got a call. Very cool. And yeah, we really like that to work for sure.
Yeah, as you are here, like, I think you are going to get lots of ping, in our Discord and asking people what to do how. Right? So don't be bothered.
That's fine. I'm happy with that. If people can ping me whenever, I'm very happy to help people or to direct people on sort of what they can do, because ultimately this is a community game, and we want to help and build the stuff with the community. So we're always here to help people in case they have ideas or there's things that are wrong, because we think that's the right way to build. I don't think it's great, and lots of people, I'm happy for people to build, just privately, whatever. But I think the right way is for other people to be involved in this, and it's not always going to work. So we're sorry about that, but also we hope that showing you a bit more of the development, or showing a bit more of what actual building on Somnia is like. We really want to push the boundary, and I think that's what we're doing. So thanks all for attending. It's been great, because you help push the boundary for sure.
Thanks a lot. I'm already seeing a lot of cool memes being made out of Chunk. So excited to see how this rolls out in the next few days. And I think we should kick off like best builder competition or something like that to see who comes out as the best emerging builder of most of the cool stuff.
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
Okay, so sorry, go on.
I was just going to say, actually, if people send me or at me cool things you built, I will send people STT. So yeah.
Okay, that's an alpha right there, guys. So if you need more SCT, you can always bother Monty with your cool items, right? Or the cool stuff you build. That's another passive way to earn STTs and progress in the game of Chunked as well. Okay, so I'm not seeing any more questions. I guess, you can spend a couple more hours and people will be playing and starting questions and making cool stuffs. But I think now that should be it. Okay, one last piece. I promise this is the last one. Someone just asked that why is Chunked feeling heavy? So
Oh.
is it like heavy, like in terms of consumption, or like could you please share a little bit about it?
Yeah.
Sorry, are you saying something?
No, I just think I don't know what that means.
Well, I think he meant it for fun. Like the game feels heavy. He means when you have such a large scale game, like visually it looks super
True.
large, right? So normally a game of this scale takes way more load, but I don't think that looks the case for Chunked. So I think that's pretty good.
Yeah,
People
it
are
was annoying.
already wondering if there will be tournaments of Chunked or something.
Yeah, no, it was pretty hard. As in, I think Marco could definitely speak to that. As in, it was a lot of work put into performance. Because it's really hard to do this on web. And it's even just like, honestly, one of the harder parts was just the Web 2 game part of it, which hopefully can improve with better AI and sort of better tooling there. But it's the actual with the Web 3 part was definitely not the hardest part for sure.
Absolutely, that's the first part that caught my eye too. Like I can just literally refresh and the game just loads in a few seconds, and it's just a web-based game. So that is definitely some top tier work by you guys. Um, so I think we can wrap it up today, and it's been a really playful and fun event, and been a pleasure to host you all amazing folks here. As we end up, like before I give the floor to Mondi to give up some, final words, Marcus and Marco, would you like to share anything? You have been silent for most part of the show, so I'd give the floor first to you if you want to share any last words to the community or about the game itself.
Sure, it was super cool. Thank you so much for everyone that joined. It was a cool experience. We count on your feedback to improve things. You were talking about how heavy the game feels. There's for sure a lot of room for optimization of graphics, but I was very happy to see that someone posted a screenshot from a mobile phone, and it was running, I think, at 30 FPS. So I think we're okay for now, but there's certainly room for optimization. And yeah, thanks everyone for joining.
Okay,
Yeah,
thanks a lot. Really
um,
appreciate it. Marcus, it's your turn now.
I've been pretty quiet for this one because most of the hard work on this one was done by Monty and Marco. I'm actually more behind the kind of like playgrounds, kind of web worlds and the ML project. But yeah, hoping to attend one of these soon with some of those things as well. Yeah, great work, everyone.
Thank you so much, sir. And Monty, would you please give a concluding speech on behalf of us all?
Well, it's been really awesome being in this hour with everybody. And I really hope that the people that were able to play enjoyed that and continue to do that. If you struggle to get in, yeah, feel free to still message me or other people about things that a bit difficult, because ultimately we just want to build this for everybody, and so we'll take everybody's advice and everybody's feedback, because it's the reason why we do this. We want everybody to sort of chip in and feel heard, because this is something we're doing. We're always reading everyone's messages and making sure that it all works for everybody, because what's a Web3 game without it working for everyone. Yeah, thanks all. And thanks, Mish, as well for hosting this. It's been great.
Thank you so much to you all. Like it's been a pleasure to hosting you. I think you can throw a challenge to people and try to break it over the weekend. That would be something people would love to do as well.
It would be cool to see how high of a TPS people can hit. I think that'd be cool. Top left, you can see the TPS. So I've personally tested with bots to several thousand. So I know it can manage it. So definitely feel free to get people around and seeing if you can push that TPS as high as possible. So yeah, be cool to see. As well as also building.
Insomniacs, you got a challenge right there. You know, you need to make the highest TPS count and ping Monty all over Discord, right?
Yeah.
You can get your STT.
Yeah, and obviously also it'd be cool to see awesome structures. You know, you can think about building super high up. You know, really cool structures, a cool house, something, anything cool. That'd be awesome to see as well.
Okay, so I'll definitely be chatting with the community and see and collecting the best architectures, I would say, and maybe skyscrapers as well. You never know that they can build on the world. So definitely we'll get onto that. But again, thanks a lot for all of you to taking the time and joining us in this amazing session and sharing all the alpha sneak peeks and the live stream of Chunk. I think we got fully chunked already, so I guess we could wrap it up for today. Thanks a lot for joining again, and we'll chat you again somewhere in the next event. And yeah, thank you, and have a nice day, guys.
Thank you as well. Right. Cheers all. Bye.
Thank you. Bye bye.